to be empty. Nice. Yeah. In the market for a while. Yeah. We put on our name tags, I guess. Then we just bring them to you. It's like just a white sticker, like that's a logo on it. That's fine. Yes. W for winning, vendetta, winning is out. So maybe increase first the name tag. I guess what I need to go and do the name tag. He's at the office. No, there was no constitution. Oh, don't worry, don't worry. I'll go say that's me. I think there was. Very top. That's how it was on the website. That's how we started. I actually thought about Black and Beauty, but then I checked the website. I got wrong. It's the line of sand. Yeah, you do that. I want to see. I promise to work. Yes. All good. Thank you. Where's the next? Ah. Goodies are there. It's okay. I'm not doing this. No, later. Yeah. Where are the Verve stickers? He's making them right now. Oh, the actual Verve. No, he's go. Yeah.
Did you send the I put the presentation link yesterday?
Yeah.
Do we use my Google? Did you don't PDF?
It's a PDF.
Yeah, you know it's it's about my nose. I put my mouse into the the mouse panel, bring directly
It's
to the
not with
presentation.
me. Yeah, it's not with me. This is what I got the PDF for.
Okay. We could
Yeah.
can I send you?
Or
Or you should have it already.
Da ist übrigens das Mail, das ist von Samba.
Ja.
Und es ist das Livestream. Offenbar sind erst für mich die Tisch, das sind das ganz Straße, die das brauchen, oder?
Oder bei dir Füße.
Das ist, wenn ich lasse.
Ja, das ist auch sehr gut.
Ja, also, es wäre, glaube ich, nur das war mehr physisch hoch. Wir müssen der setzen.
Okay.
Ja. Is the setup now fine from the Zoom?
yeah, it's already been in the matter.
Ah, it's already online.
Yeah, it's already awesome. So this screen is the first that we will be live stream.
Okay,
And then once it starts, I'm just going to let this.
awesome. Do you want to put the screen here as well when guests arrive?
Yes, but I try to because I would like them here. This one, how do you? I think it's. How do you do it?
So to go up,
Maybe just shift the window.
yeah.
Like that.
Right, now it's down.
Yeah.
How does this meta blocks work? So we have people joining to the meta. And
Yeah, so we
join
send the
and
link.
network.
Yeah, we send the link to all the online people, so you should send all the links online.
Okay.
So they just click the link to this space.
Okay.
Where we have like each startup has also a room, and then we have some
can network.
and then you have like you can network. Have you used some other metaverse?
I have used yours like 2 years ago when we did the first event,
Okay.
but I don't know if it's still like that or has it changed a lot?
I mean, in terms of a company, it's totally evolved into something else.
Okay.
For Samba, we still have this
This
virtual
environment.
space, yeah, the environment and
We're
everything.
going to explain more about it
Yeah,
another
sure.
time. Did you hear that, Mike? There is gonna be a metaverse.
Metaverse.
Yes, so people are joining online through the metaverse, and if you want, you could even have a virtual self of yours where you can network online in the metaverse with interested people.
And
Yes.
also that people can do like sign tickets.
And breakout rooms, yes. Yeah, that's cool. So yeah,
Kijk, we willen gewoon presentatie.
ja, plus op de laptop.
Wat nog zijn, niet van zijn opgesproken.
Ja, maar het is
Still, oh, I'm just gonna ask. Yeah, that would be great. You email me.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Because we are not allowed to, have open presentations, protect the startups also that nobody can copy and so on. So that's why we always have,
Yeah.
yes.
You know, the pitch is just one small. Yeah, how's your email address?
Again. That we in German.
Maybe.
Yeah, mega.
Sure.
Yeah, it's,
Oh,
yeah, my name is. Ash.
Zie je naar voren.
Genau, de blanke.
Ja, kan er nog zijn dat moet echt worden.
Genau, das ist das Spurprozess. Hier sind wir beim Lecker.
Ja, ja.
Noch ein
Ja.
bisschen Handke. Hier
Kan ik niet op de grond. Ja, dat is goed.
Was eigentlich nicht logisch, aber logisch. Ein Dokumentation.
Would you be comfortable with, so here you go to move, okay?
Aber finde ich vor das sind ja das erste Mal das einfach nicht steht.
All complicated with two screens,
Die Sekunde von der
but,
Stadt jeder als
yeah, this is my problem, I don't.
We need the pitch here, we need it here too for the people in-house and on Zoom too. But yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, let me. And how are you going to, so here, if you do share,
That's just sharing for the people, that's not right. Yes,
presentation,
you're talking about like.
presentation, yeah, slideshow, but the thing is, we need to share the screen.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
then we can.
Wait a minute, so now you can share the screen.
Yes.
Very nice. And can you check with the clicker if you can still see the, Can you read your note?
Yeah. That's cool. Well, yeah.
But you are not sharing your screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Have to do the screen sharing here somewhere, right?
Yeah. You need to go back to Zoom. Yeah.
Who is going to introduce?
Click there here.
Click on the black screen. Yeah, yeah. And now go share screen.
Oh.
It's not
I
the,
lost the here.
yeah. Just share.
Yeah, the second one.
Yes, now we see it.
Right.
And then you have to do the clicker. Yes. And can you still see your notes now?
I need to use a bigger font.
A bigger font.
Yeah. Bigger
You
type
can
of
change
font.
it here.
Definitely, yes.
Okay,
All right.
but we have 15 minutes here for you to change it.
Between the
Or you
first
could just
page and
use
the,
your, you could still use, because it's a live file you are using, right?
yeah,
So you could change it on your
sure,
laptop.
please.
And I'm just gonna change my position to where else.
But I to report if we change, if I'm the next one. To prepare everything between the first pitch and my pitch, right?
Yeah, I'll be good. Don't worry, we will figure it
So, and you need.
You're gonna be.
No, that's from the ice. I'm going to give this back. So
I'm just gonna find a place.
there, and you saw all the presentation from all the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just experimenting, but
Fine. I'm also.
okay, great. So I'm just gonna leave this.
Yeah.
Sharing. So if I do
Bring two, the with this one.
yeah, my
You want to show the presentation on the left? This, then you have to move the window.
so let's see.
Just take the window, the whole window.
Let's be also.
And so,
And for you, what I will have to do? Yeah, for your, to show your presentation. I just need to,
just change the Pro.
to share the screen. Here, this one I have to click then.
No. This one is just bringing us on screen too. So that means we have to open. Yeah. Yep.
Yes,
Right.
and then take this up.
And first we have to change to
Slideshow.
presentation mode. You're using the Mac. Yeah.
And then take it. What did you press?
Then presenter views. Then I have two windows. I take this one here. There's the share for full screen. And that's it. Here. I don't want to bring two them things back.
Wow.
Point to it.
Exactly.
Right.
For sure. It's 5 to 10 minutes after this. Yeah, this.
H.
Yeah. You have reached. Yeah. Sorry.
So that's what I had.
Really?
Yeah, they do. Setting, one to one. Send me an email.
Apologize. Yeah.
Which one here? Can you go down? Which? Yeah. Even Hi, Greg. Can you hear us? Can you talk?
Hi, yes, I can hear you now.
Great. Yeah, it's a lot of noise, so
No
but
worries.
it's gonna calm down. Yeah, it's gonna calm down, and I think can you keep the volume to full? Yeah.
All good, all good. I can hear you well. I will try to follow everything during the presentation and the Q&A afterwards.
Okay, so please mute until yeah, we tell you to talk. Okay.
Will do. No worries, no worries. Shall I leave the camera on or?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, put the camera on.
Okay, will do. Speak
Now
to you
we have
later
a
then.
Yeah, now we have a short pitch from Mark, and then yeah, Then we start.
Perfect. Looking forward.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming. So I'm Martin here. I'm president of the Swiss Association Verve. We are very happy to have you here. So a short introduction about Samba. What is Samba? I hope you all know it, but for those who don't know, we have 4,500 members around the world. The main hub is in Switzerland, but we have also a president in the USA, including the chapter in UK. These are our university partners and the company partners. We have, of course, the champions of commerces, but some car producers, Big Four, etc. And of course also venture companies. And like here you see a bit from the industry-wise, of course, financial, pharma, IT, legal. And the purpose of Samba is to connect you, students and graduates from the top universities, and to help you to grow your career. And we do this with events and also with educational content. And we focus on entrepreneurship, investments. That's today's topic. Then all events are not like marketing topics, so you should learn also something. And diversity and inclusion, very important for us. So the council, then RIA, of course, digitalization and sustainability. We have several councils, also an investment council. Thanks everybody for, I saw like several people here. So they help to select the startups which present today, and several others. So if you are interested in supporting us, just let me know. We are always open for new people, and these are our event pipeline. Today is the venture capital event, then we want to do a CIO's Leaders Summit, then another pitch event with Zickpick in Geneva, then the largest Metaverse Summit, then Gala Dinner and Digital Leaders Conference, Future of Mobility, then a CMO Summit, and Sustainable Leaders, again with Red Public. So I come next to this, so thanks again. So here, our event today. So we're very happy and to be here in this place. So with Verve Ventures, so and Red Republic. So first we have then the pitches like that Samba selected. So we start with Empower, then we go to Unmeet, then Perivision, and then comes the main topic, Verve. They have started as a platform for startups and grown to a fund very successfully. And we have here the CIO, former also CEO of Bank Valiant. And here I would like to thank to our partners, first Verve, but also Web Republic. So come on, Hanan, he's the CEO. Maybe if you can come and introduce yourself. So he was the first Google employee, and he made as he thought this even nicer than Google.
Yeah, guys, great to have you here. It's an honor to be the host or have you guys all here at the Web Republic. I founded the company now close to 14 years ago. After my adventure at Google, and today obviously we're focusing very strongly in the whole field of digital communication, of marketing, looking at media from a 360 degrees perspective. And yes, it's I obviously personally feel very passionate about the topic of entrepreneurship. And yeah, so it's a great honor to have all of you here. Again, if you have any questions on the realm of digital communication trends and whatnot, please do not hesitate to ask those questions or get in touch with us. And I thought the highlight is actually upstairs because it looks like you have a great, amazing buffet. So yes, hope you have all a great evening here at the Web Republic, and we'll go back to you.
Okay, perfect. So now we come to the first startup presentation, the Empower. So, and also, I mean, Samba is a non-for-profit association, so we don't invest, but if someone would like, you can reach out, and then we do a syndicate, or we have like an actively managed certificate that you could invest. And for the Verve one, we will hear then later how you could invest. So that is much easier. So then we come later to the Mentimeter. Now we go over to Empower. So yeah, I'm very happy you could make it. The co-founders are outside Switzerland, so therefore we have also a female presenter. So this is very important for us, as we said, like diversity inclusion. So we are very happy that you're here, and what you're doing is really amazing. And yeah, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So I'm just gonna jump into it specifically because they gave us 3 minutes.
And
so
we have only 3 minutes.
Exactly. So I'll jump right into it. Thanks for having us. And we at Empower believe that you can both make profit and an impact at the same time. So approximately 500,000 people across sub-Saharan Africa lack access to energy, and even more depend on unreliable, unhealthy, and unsustainable energy sources. On top of that, in the past decade, we have seen a drop of prices for solar products, which opens way for Africa's energy transition. We see Africa jumping into decentralized solar in order to provide the population with its energy that it requires. And for this energy transition to happen, we believe that there's 3 core aspects that need to be covered, which are power, products, and financing. And prior to entering the market, we saw that there was no power, there were low quality products, and there was very expensive financing. And this is where Empower comes in. 4 years ago, we created a B2B2C platform where we work together with local partners in order to provide them with high quality products in order for them to then offer it to their customers. Right now, this is our product portfolio, which caters for SMEs, households, and farmers. Our products come from our from our sourcing hub in Shenzhen, where our team focuses in maintaining the quality and also ensuring that all of our products get in time to where they need to be. Once the products are ready, they are shipped to our warehouses in Africa, where we then offer it to our partners. Financing is a key factor, right? So in Empower, we offer our partners with inventory financing and our customers with lease to own for up to 36 months. The latter we offer constitutes to 30% of our sales, and it's offered specifically on a payroll deduction scheme. Finally, we have our software, which allows digitalization of all of our processes from the beginning to end, allowing smooth operations for both us and our partners. Where are we today? Since the beginning, we have now worked with more than 20 distributors, sold over 30,000 units, and are present in 7 different countries. And as of last year, we created a revenue of 1.6 million. How do we make money? In short, hardware sales. And under the current model, our profit margins are 35%. This has allowed us to be EBITDA positive in the first country where we entered, Zambia, and we look to be EBITDA positive in our second country at the end of this year, Cameroon, and Togo and Ghana within the next 2 years. So thanks for having us, and now it's open for questions.
Perfect. Seven seconds too much, but fantastic. It's a applause, right? Really nice. Oh, fantastic. So, yeah. Okay, we have Greg here from Spain. So, yeah, he's co-founder, and so please ask questions.
I think you're mute, Greg. Just.
Okay, I thought you might lip read, but thanks for letting me know.
Yeah. Please.
Any questions?
Maybe one question.
We only have 3 minutes for questions.
Do you also include batteries in packages?
Yes, we do. It depends, obviously, battery size depends on which system it needs to support.
You try to build a grid between different
No, we don't.
installations?
As of now, we don't do mini grids.
And people who are online, they can also type their questions. So we will read them. Please, feel free. Other in the room.
Did you think about, I mean, do you have also deals with banks for the financing?
Financing. Greg, do you want to take this one?
I didn't catch the question 100%. Could you please repeat for me, Maria?
We work with banks for financing.
Yes, we do. So, I mean, maybe just two or three words. So, in most of the cases, we do like a B2B2C approach to some degree. So, there are some customers which we finance directly, since we go like a multi-channel approach, but most of them we don't finance ourselves directly. So what we do, we work with banks on the one hand side, of course, for working capital, to get the products to the markets, to get the products to the distributors, to have solutions in place for distributors as well, that they can finance the products until they get sold, paid, basically. But at the same time, as well, we are working with banks in the countries to finance the customers directly. What we have been doing there is as well that we build up payroll deduction schemes, for instance. So civil servants, for instance, in Zambia can buy our products on a lease to own basis, financed up to 36 months. But these things go basically hand in hand. But for us, what's really important and what Maria mentioned is unlocking basically this whole well, stalemate, if you want to call it like this, when it comes to financing. So you need to do that via partnerships.
Other question? How do customers find you?
So do you want this one, Greg? Sorry.
Please go ahead and I chip in afterwards, if you want. But we have teams on the ground in all the markets where we are present. We have small teams of around 5 to 6 people at least. And then we are, as mentioned, we are working with distributors. So these distributors we are working with are usually organized in a way that they have sales agents across the whole countries. So to give it a bit more concrete, so for instance, in Zambia, we're working with one distributor who has across the country, I think around 120 something sales agents. These people walk really around. They go from city to city, often to schools to make presentations. They have our, well, not walk, they have cars, but they have our products with them. They do little showcases over there. And this way people know about it. That's one part. The other part, flanked by this, we have, our partners have a few shops, for instance, where people can go afterwards. And then, of course, there's a possibility to contact us via WhatsApp or other electronic means as well.
So time is over. Sorry, I really have to come back. But what she did, really fantastic investors also backing you, and the sustainability, I think you cannot have better ones. So, okay, let's go to the next one.
Bye-bye.
So, and now I'm very happy to thank you, like Theo. So he's very proud also of his meat burger. So it's the what? This will come. Das ist jetzt Mini-Präsentation.
Mega.
By Google. The Google Form.
Okay. Ah, jetzt muss ja.
Aber. Und was Sputzgrün machen, das schon von der Rolle. Schlimmes. Heißt für nichts. Keine Abschlusskurse.
So now we start with you. So very happy, and he's also willing to present his products and afterwards. So I have been there. So I have to say it was the best burger I've eaten so far. So I'm not a vegetarian, and I'm not a shareholder. Don't get any introducer fee. So yeah, please then test it out, and now the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Well, hello, my name is Theo Fovetto, and yeah, I'm the co-founder of the brand Unmeat. And yeah, thanks so much for being here. It's a big honor to present our case. Also, thank you so much. Yeah, we started selling burgers almost 8 years ago. We started at the big music festivals, and 2 years ago, we opened the first real location here in Zurich. So, who's from Zurich? Who knows Unmeat? Well, not that bad, but we have to invest more in marketing for sure. So yeah, but why are we doing this? First of all, we want to help to save the environment with delicious vegan burgers. Globally, 360 million tons of meat were consumed in 2022. That's a lot. And the consumption of meat is responsible for 16.5% of the greenhouse gas emissions. That's a fact. So, less meat consumption equal less greenhouse gases, right? However, the people will not change their habits fast enough to give up the taste of meat altogether. That's why Unmeat offers a perfect vegan fast food experience, or as we call it too, we are the vegan place for meat eaters. With our burgers, we save tons of meat, tons of CO2, of course, and millions of liters of water. If you compare a well-known burger from one of the biggest global fast food chains with one of our burgers, the special burger, and by the way, when after 7 o'clock, 7:30 o'clock, we will get a delivery of a lot of unmeat burger that you can taste, our unmeat special burger. And with this burger, we are able to reduce CO2 emissions for a normal burger of about 260%. Our goal is to become the first climate positive fast food system, and every single unmeat burger should have a positive impact on our environment. Yeah, what is our business model? We are looking for entrepreneurs with the right attitude, and we license them our knowledge, our products, and our technology, and provide them also with all the equipment it needs, the processes, and the software. We want to support impact entrepreneurs with a grand brand and business. With the Unmeat franchising, we offer a new type of franchising that allows us quickly find and finance new Unmeat businesses. We enable people who want to have positive impact on the future. Together, we will create the first community-driven franchising. Why Unmeat? Well, we have the independence and we have the credibility to do this. And right now, yeah, people want to be part of a positive movement.
Okay, thank you.
3 minutes are over.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
3 minutes for questions, please. Amigos.
What is the source material for making the unmeat?
Depends the product. We have different kinds of products. If you're talking about this, the patty for the special burger, it's mostly pea protein. But we are working with pea protein, soy protein, and wheat protein as well.
You're not the only one in this business. What distinguishes you from others?
Well, the system, the technology behind, because we really know that you can't drive a restaurant or something in gastronomy without right data. We invested a lot. And of course, but this is a common answer, the taste of our burgers. We are really unique with the taste of our burgers, and we don't try to hit the taste of vegetarians or whatever. We really try to taste the taste of meat, to hit the taste of meat eaters. That's the difference. This is because we really place for meat eaters.
Yeah.
Do you have a production project? And how much do you produce a year?
Now we are working with different producers. We started 10 years ago with building up a network to the most innovative producers in Europe. And 4 years ago, we decided only to work with producers here in Switzerland, because we have really great producers, not only planted, there are others, really good producers for this kind of products. The thing is not the same.
Yeah. Other questions?
You said it's
please, no.
you said it's let's say lower in carbon. How much lower is it? And you also said that you want to go positive, but that you can probably only do by offsetting, or what?
Yeah, we need to offset. The burger we mentioned before, the conventional one, generates 2.35 kilo of CO2. With our special burger, we are at 900 grams. And of course, the 900 grams we need to offset. You need to offset all the time. Yeah.
Yes, you have a question?
Yeah, it is said that it's the first generation of these non-meat products, and that there are a lot of
More or less.
ingredients, a lot of additives and so on to try to make the taste closer to meat.
Yeah.
How do you compare with others?
They depend others.
Or other similar products?
Like in the meat alternative space.
Right.
Well, so first of all, we are working with producers that are already producing this kind of products. And our uniqueness is how to serve it to the people, how to promote it about the distribution and the branding and the recipes of the burgers itself. It's not only the patty or the meat alternative itself. It's a combination of all of the things.
Okay. So time is over. Last presentation. Thank you. So now we have here Patrick. He is co-founder of Verve. He's a foreign strategy consultant and wants to build impact ventures instead of pure slides. So it's yours.
Now slides first. Yeah. So at Perivision, we really want to virtualize eye testing to make them much more accessible for the 21st century. The problem we tackle is that the prevalence for eye diseases will increase dramatically over the next decades due to our demographic changes, so the aging of our societies, but also lifestyle factors like diabetes. And already now there's over 1 billion of people with preventable vision damages to such eye diseases. And this number will only grow. And on the, let's say, supply side of the system, we really have the problem that our means to test how well the eye functions and sees are really inefficient. They're stationary, so they're placed in hospitals and practices. They're resource intense and expensive, so in separate rooms, trained staff, expensive equipment, and the data they produce is often very unreliable. So we built a virtual platform of these eye tests with software and algorithms so that you can integrate them onto off-the-shelf VR headsets and conduct them there. And of course, in the back, we have a cloud application where the clinicians can review the measurements. And in the back, we use our AI algorithms to, on the one hand, make the tests much faster, more reliable, autonomously guide the patient through the test, so you don't need a human assistant anymore. And on the other hand, help the clinicians make better sense of the data. Our product roadmap really disrupts eye care in 4 steps. What I showed you before is this first product that we're building now, the base platform to conduct VR eye tests. The first eye test we have now implemented and virtualized is perimetry testing. This is used to diagnose and monitor glaucoma, which is a terrible chronic eye disease that leads to irreversible blindness. And others will come in the future. We will then move beyond the measurement step and really go into diagnostics and prognosis with an AI-based software module that we will launch. And then ultimately, we want to also move into the telemedicine space and move these tests out of the clinic to really drive the access through Perimode, our telemedicine offering. Our value proposition is twofold. It's really higher productivity in clinics, in practices, but also better data and insights to make clinical decisions. So with our system, we get rid of the device footprint, we optimize workflows. So in the end, the clinic can see more patients on a given day, but also through better analytics and data can intervene earlier and have more procedures. So that translates into higher revenues. And we monetize this through software subscriptions to our platform. Market is global. This can be sold to basically every eye doctor in the world. And we already have initial traction. We have letters of intent from practice networks, from distributors in the US or also in Switzerland, Zimmer Ophthalmology. And we currently participate in a glaucoma monitoring procurement challenge by the National Health Service in the UK. So the market exists, but we need to serve it now. So why should you invest in us? I have a background in business and strategy consulting, in the medtech and biopharma space. My co-founders, Sherif and Raphael, are really leading scientists at this intersection of AI and ophthalmology. Raphael has already founded another company that Verve actually has invested in, Retin AI. And around the team, we have really built a top team of key opinion leaders and clinical advisors to help us bring this into the clinic and market. Now we're raising a 2 million seed round. That's why we're here. really accelerate the platform development.
Perfect. So, Ross? Please.
Do you have competition?
Very
Do you have competition?
Yes, we do. On the one hand, the the incumbents in the space providing like Zeiss or Hochstreit, this company that produce the currently used gold standards. And then there's a couple of startups also that have realized basically the opportunity to virtualize these eye tests. What we do differently, I mean, against the former, it's quite obvious. I showed this, but against the latter, it's really that we basically optimize the entire workflow with AI. So from the measurement, the testing itself, where we have our proprietary testing strategies, to the quality control of the data, this autonomous engagement with the patient, and then also the analytics piece that I mentioned before. Yeah.
So if I understand correctly, you're an AI company. Where do you get your data to train your models, and do you own it?
Yes. So the first question, so the core IP comes out of clinical work that my co-founders did with the eye clinic in Bern. That's where we started developing the algorithms. And now we license this IP. We have an exclusive license to the patents. And now we have also closed an exclusive data access agreement with the eye clinic. So we build a new sort of an integrated eye care patient data set for them, to which we will have exclusive usage rights over the next years to build this second product that I mentioned before, where we go into diagnostics and prognosis.
How long till you actually start making revenues? So when do you expect the certifications and to be done?
Yeah, so the first product we are building or finalizing now. We hope to launch this basically at the end of this year or at the beginning of next year. The idea is to really decouple the diagnostics and prognosis part from the pure measurement. So we can go to market quickly with the measurement product and then build on top the analytics solution, which will require another or slightly more, I should say, rigorous regulatory process. That's also why it takes a bit longer. We have to do additional studies to show that we actually have high accuracy in our algorithms. But yeah, we can already sort of partially cross-subsidize this with the measurement product that we can start with.
How many units do you have out right now, and what is your kind of growth profile?
So currently we have a couple of units being tested in hospitals. So we work with Chilona in Lausanne, or the eye clinic in Bern. So these are sort of user testings.
Are they like prototype units, or is that what you're going to go with?
Excuse me?
Are they prototype units?
Yes, exactly. This is still, so we're not on the market yet. We're pre-regulatory approvals. But the idea is to conduct another 3 clinical studies this year in Boston, Bern, and the UK in autumn. And then the idea is to slowly ramp up with the commercialization next year. So we have sort of these early adopters, private practices, clinics, and then work also with distributors to get the volume.
Perfect. Time is over. Thank you very much. So now we come to the main.
And what I forgot, if someone wants to test their eyes later, I have a device here, so feel free to come by.
Oh, so was heißt Tweet, ja. Hast du jetzt Tweet, ist die richtige gewesen? Präsentation, oder? Ja, kommt ja noch rein. Pitch Deck, Verve, 4. Genau, hier da. Ja. Okay, sorry. Long presentation. Oh, I'm very happy to present the CEO of Verve. So he has an amazing background, was also the CEO of Allianz Bank, and now also in the board of Migrobank and of Rega. Amazing profile. So yeah, please, stage is yours.
Thank you. That's true.
Yeah.
So good evening, everybody. Very happy to be here. My name is Mike. I'm representing Verve Ventures. And what do we do at Verve? Our life and blood is like venture investing. That's what we do every day, sometimes also every night. 365 days a year, we are looking at pitches, great pitches that we've seen just like before. And I would certainly hire Maria for just color coding for ventures. Verve Ventures, it's like you made that really well. And what we've seen also here is like 3 great pitches addressing 3 major topics. We've seen energy, which is certainly a relevant topic, especially in Africa. We've seen the future of food, which is relevant for everybody. And we have certainly seen that eye safety and eye health is a relevant topic for everybody. So that's already a good like starting point, because we want to address relevant topics as well. But I can already tell you a little dirty secret of venture investing. It's actually not so secret, because what you need to know is venture investing is hard. It's hard work, because we see pitches like you have done, really great pitches every day. We are testing like 5,000 companies per year across Europe with a team of 20 investment managers. They are looking at great pitches every day, every single day. And their job is to find the best out of these teams, not just the good looking ones, but those who are really addressing a certain relevant problem, but also have like the business sense to make from a small company, make it into a bigger company. That's what we are hunting really. And because it's so hard, we want to make it a little bit easier for investors. Because if you are interested in venture investing, you have exactly the same problem that we have here. You see the 3 great pitches, but we only have like 10,000 or 50 or 100,000 to invest. So where should you invest? Should you invest in all of these? Should you pick one? Should you wait for the next pitch? That's a big question. And we want to make this decision a little bit easier, because we do that every day. And we want to give access to like a broader portfolio of investment companies that we can access. So the Verve Venture Fund that I'm going to present, the only idea is we try to select the winners from a good portfolio. So we are truffle hunting, not just at the very beginning like we've seen, but we also looking for the truffles within our own portfolio. So we make a selection of the selection and put that into a fund that is accessible to everybody. Who has done venture investing before? Who has invested in a venture fund? There's potential. Yeah, good. So if we talk about it's our company was built in 2010, and actually I'm not the CEO. The CEOs are Lucas and Steffen, who founded the company like 13 years ago out of nothing, with the idea of bringing venture investment in a professional realm and making it accessible to everybody. And as you can see, we invest 60 million through our investors per year. So in Switzerland, that's certainly one of the top companies, and also in Europe, we are certainly amongst the biggest 10 investment companies. And we have 46 people, not just here in Zurich, but also in Lausanne, in Paris, in Berlin, and 1 guy in Cambridge. So we try to cover really the European space. And over the years, since 2010, we have built a portfolio of 156 companies, and that's growing. And we invest primarily in digital startups. We invest in high-tech and hardware startups, and certainly also in health topics. So that's a portfolio that we have at our disposal, where we can now select the biggest hopes, the biggest winners. People also want not just to invest, but they want their money back with a return. That's it's not. We are not in the charity business. We are in the investing business. If you want to go for charity, there's other channels, but people who invest through Verve, they want to invest in a business topic, but also they want to have like a return. And the return comes usually through exits. That's a selection of the exits that we had in the last 2 years. Happy to go into these maybe in the Q&A. So what do we do today? We make single investments. So you can invest in a single company, but also, and that's why I'm here today, you can invest in a fund that like combines the best of the best. So how do we do it? You remember those 150 companies that we have already invested in, and the purpose of the fund is to select the winners out of these 156. And we have an investment period of 3 years, as you can see here. In 2022, we started with the venture fund, and we have already built a portfolio of 5 companies. And last year, we also raised the fund with a commitment of already 45 million Swiss francs invested in the fund or committed. And we are now in the process of raising the second capital, second closing of this fund. So we are now in 2023, and we have already taken 2 investment decisions this year to build this pipeline. So what is like at the essence of investing? Whenever you invest for the first time, and that is not different for Verve or any professional investor out there, you only know so much about the company. You can do a due diligence for 10 days, for 10 years, 100 years, but at some point you need to say, I need to stop. I need to make a decision. Do I like the team? Do I like the business? Do I want to invest? And there is always a big amount of uncertainty and a big amount of hope. Normally that hope goes away when you see the first quarterly reporting. Then your hope meets reality. And we see that every time that a good due diligence is not done when you invest for the first time, but to select really the good companies from the middle or bad companies, you need to see a company performing over time. Because only over time you can really find out what's under the ice, what is under waterline. So how do people really tackle problems? Business problems appear every day. We will hear from Tom later on what business problems means in practice. We see how do the people work together? Are they sticking together? Can they manage a team? Can they build a team? Can they really keep their promises, their milestones? We can learn so much over the years, and only when we think the moment is right, now the company is mature enough and we are at an inflection point of the company, this is the right moment for the venture fund to invest. Not the first time, but only in subsequent rounds when we know what is here and what is down here is not always pleasant. It's always sometimes ugly. And you want to find out which kind of ugliness you want to accept. Timing wise? Okay, good. I can slow down. I would like to explain you this principle in this case of Mero Therapeutics, where we have invested in the fund. So how does it work in practice? How does it work, this discovery of the good from the bad, the selection from the good and the bad? In the case of Mero Therapeutics, it's actually a Swiss company based in Schlieren. What they do is they try to discover antibodies of people who have gone through a specific disease. So for instance, all the people who had COVID, you take blood samples because they survived, hopefully, otherwise their blood samples are somewhere else. So you take the live blood and you try to figure out what is the common antibody, what are the common denominators between all the people who have gone through the disease. And then from these antibodies, you select them, you try to replicate them, and you try to build medical treatment for this specific disease. That is the business of Mero. We have believed in this company since 2018, where we did our first investment and we saw just the tip of the iceberg. But it was good enough for us to say, yeah, that's a good company. But is it really a good company? We will only find out over time. But since 2018, we had like 4 years of observation period where we saw how is the company developing. And we saw under the water that the government is interested in giving grants. We saw that they're negotiating with big suppliers. And we also saw that really specific worldwide companies are coming to Schlieren to find out what they're doing. They're coming from all over the world to Schlieren. Nobody should know where Schlieren is, but they come for memo. And we spot that. We see what is going to happen. If you're a normal investor, you never know that. You never see who is going in and out of memo. And that's at some point when we had the fund, we said, this is good enough now for us to make an investment decision. And we invested, and what it turned out that they got government funding. So they got 10 million from the Swiss government for research. They also had made good progress on 2 therapeutic candidates. They signed an agreement with Ono, which is the second largest pharma distribution company in Japan. And also we see a big pharma interest. So we think we picked the right moment of where the company is still relatively cheap enough, but we see the future coming. For us, it's like the golden moment. So we did apply the same thinking, the same process last year, and we've already built a portfolio of 5 companies. 3 of them are Swiss companies, Memo, as I mentioned, Flyability, inspection drones from EPFL Lausanne, and Yonder, we are going to know more about Yonder from Tom later on. So what does the Verve Venture Fund do? We invest across Europe. We want to build a portfolio of 15 to 20 companies over the next 24 months. We are well ahead. We have made the investments already. It's a classical SICAV Luxembourg fund. You can put it in your bank portfolio if you wish. So that's totally investable, and it's already performing. And here you can also see like the maturity where we invest. The 5 cases go from Series A up until to the growth phase. So what we've seen here is also like a little bit of a distribution, some really early, some have already made quite considerable turnover, and some are just on the way. So that could fit well. So how do we do it? We have a 2-step process. This is our venture team, 20 people who are looking for checking those 5,500 companies every year to find the best ones. And they are actually led by Michael Blanc, who's there. He's the head of those smart guys, so he must be even smarter. And also at this point, I wanted to say there's a couple of Verve colleagues also in the room. If you just raise your hands. So whenever you have a question about Verve, please go to those people with like the Verve dot. So selection process number 2 is out of these companies that we invest in every year, we make another selection and take out the 5 to 7 best ones. How do we do it? We invest the capital that comes from the investors within 3 years to build the portfolio. And after this period, the portfolio building is done and we only reinvest for upcoming rounds of these companies. Who is doing that? That's the investment committee, the 2 co-founders that I mentioned, Michael, of course, because he knows the portfolio best. And we were also able to convince Philip, also a Google manager, but contrary to Tom, he still works there. He's a long-standing EMEA manager there, but he's also investing privately in many startups, so he knows the space. Yeah, I think I skipped that. So what's coming up this year? We already know a pipeline. We don't need to go out and search for candidates because all these companies are coming from our portfolio. We know exactly more or less when they're coming up for the next financing round. And this is like the hunting ground where we try to select the next 4 to 5 for this year, according to the process that I explained. Yeah, to sum this up, 3 points why this we think is a good investment opportunity. First, I think the strategy is really simple and clearly understandable. Second, the incoming investors these days, they already benefit from a portfolio. You've seen the 5 companies. You can say, I like them, I don't like them. If you like them, it's good because they will be part of your portfolio. And also the timing, we think, is right because everybody knows markets are a little bit shaky and valuations are not as inflated as they used to be. So we think from an investor point of view, it's a golden moment within the next 24 months to buy at reasonable prices and then hope that we can exit them at higher prices, of course, in the upcoming 5 years. I think I'm done in the 20 minutes. Who's the timekeeper? Good. So I'm taking the questions after Tom has presented Yonder.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. My name is Tom. I'm the co-founder and the CEO of Yonder. As was mentioned by Mike, I'm one of the 5 companies, or we are one of the 5 companies that are part of the venture, Verve Venture Funds 1. And we are in the serious, no nonsense, unsexy, but relevant business of documentation, right? And so what we do is basically we smarten up documents, right? And by documents, we don't mean what you find on SharePoint. We mean documents like operations manuals, regulations, norms, and all this stuff that's around there and that overwhelms your inbox, right? And what we do is we make those documents smart by helping you guys find the right information faster, right? Powerful search function that might seem super simple, but we can actually filter down the documents, be that in a search version or in a roles and filter version, so that you only see what is relevant to your role or to your mission, or both, right? And that results in dynamic content and not in static documents like you might know it from your daily life. Dear colleagues, please find attached the new version of document XYZ, best regards boss, and you find a PDF with 5,000 pages in your inbox, which you will know just like your boss, you're never going to read it. This results in reliable information for every situation, and that's what you need in controlled documents, right? You need documents where you know this is relevant to my role, this is relevant to my mission, and where your superiors know that everybody has read and understood everything. And very often these documents, they get revised over time, and that needs to have some kind of workflow so that you can actually make sure that you know who changed what at what time and why. And furthermore, a lot of those documentation and information overflows come from duplicates. So you create summaries, you copy paste stuff, then it gets revised, gets all messed up. We can solve this digitally by actually referencing information instead of copying it. Last but not least, audits. I'm just coming from the ISO 27000 maintenance audit today. That's why I'm a little bit tired, right? You need to know what has changed, why, who has changed it, who has improved it. And we have come up with a solution where you can actually link norms, laws, and regulations with your in-house company documentation to make sure you never miss anything that needs to be updated. Right, as you can see on the left, we're aviators. We started in aviation because in aviation, you have regulated procedures, how to fly this aircraft, right? Coupled with great responsibility. If you do this wrong, you're not going to come home. And that's not good, neither for you, nor for the guy who owns the plane, which is often an asset somewhere between 80 million and 300 million, right? And we call those operation manuals. Operation manuals are a mix of internal documents, like how long can you fly before you need a rest, and those 4,000 or 5,000 page documents coming from Airbus or Boeing telling you what to do and what not to do in an emergency. And we came up with a solution where you can actually link those two and do an automated revision management, syncing whatever is updated by the manufacturers and what is updated by the regulations at your company. And out of this aviation use case, we basically distilled 3 use cases. That's what Mike said, right? We're not at the very beginning, so we started in aviation, and over time, 3 use cases distilled. The first is frontline staff and decentralized organizations. So people out there flying in aircraft, police officers in the fields, soldiers somewhere in an ugly place where there's no internet reception. They need to know what they can do or what they can't do. They need to know what's relevant to their mission. And we can give those information to them on an offline system based on an app. The second is control centers. So never lose sight of the big pictures, even in an emergency. Swissgrid is a customer of ours. They manage the Swiss power grids and emergency situations, narrowing down the information using our system, making sure that they do the right thing in the right time. And last but not least, the quality management and document and compliance, that's the ugly part, right? So whenever a new norm is published, you need to know, okay, I need to change something. So the solution is a SaaS solution, right? So we have a web client for online reading and editing, integrated from start to end, and of course an offline application to serve people out in the field. And the benefits for the employees, of course, is that you can reduce your information overflow through rows and filters, so you see what's relevant to your role and to your mission, and you can actually filter the search results so you can further narrow down whatever you need. And of course, the personalized change updates. So we can actually do this like inbox style, so you don't get those ugly emails from your boss with 4,000 pages in the attachment, but you actually know this and this and this change is relevant to my role. And when you're done, your boss knows and you know you've done it. And then that's a first key benefit for the company. We know who has read what. And the second benefit is that we can actually diff the changes between changes coming from third parties like manufacturers or law providers, norm providers, etc. And you never miss any regulation update anymore. So you're not looking stupid in an audit. So actually I passed today with 0 finding. Right. So what did we do? That's a traction slide. I love this, right? This is the result of 4 years of hard work. And after a full-scale war in Europe and the pandemic, the first bit here is our customer base in aviation, right? I just want to mention too, Novoposa, that's the cargo airline of the Ukrainian post office, guys. So that's a customer we've been serving through wartime. The second I want to mention is TAP, which is still in the RFP phase. We talked to them the first time in January 2020 on site before we couldn't go back for another year because of COVID. They delayed the project 3 times for each once a year due to budget restraints after the COVID pandemic, but we're still talking, right? And when Mike said, I will talk about what's ugly in business, this is ugly, right? Tenders are ugly. Tenders take an awesome lot of time, but we still have a huge number of tenders running. You see major brands here. I'm very happy to announce tonight that AirAsia finally will send the contract this or next week after talking to 5 authorities in 5 Asian countries. So guys, that's the 5th biggest airline in Asia, serving probably about a third of the world's population with low-cost flights. Vistara and Air India, you might have seen in the news, they actually merged into a mega carrier that's going to be one of the biggest airlines on the subcontinent. And Air India has just passed an order for more than 400 aircraft. That's the biggest aircraft order in history. Right? With those customers, as well as with the major leagues, with big customer or big user numbers, we're proudly supported by Apple. Since December 2022, we're part of the Apple Solution Partner Network, where we collaborate both technically as well as commercially to push as many iPads into this market as we possibly can, of course, together with a Yonder license that we can either sell directly or through Apple. What we've also been doing besides those big things is that we started venturing into mid-market companies, which you can see down here. You might not know them, right? But this is the fruit now bearing from full marketing automation that we've been building up over the pandemic years. Last but not least, the pandemic has learned us that aviation is a really, really delicate fruit, and that regulation and information overflow is by no means limited to aviation. So we started venturing out into different industries with the different use cases, frontline employees, control centers, and compliance and quality in other regulated industries, right? And we do see first customers. The Swiss Armed Forces is a customer of ours since a long time, and we will finally be signing a 7-digit contract with those guys, probably in the next 4 weeks after a 3-year endeavor, with all instances of procurement you could ever imagine. Swissgrid, I mentioned before, Skyguide, the Swiss air traffic control organization, went live this week, right? With almost 1,000 air traffic controllers. And in the compliance and quality domain, we actually teamed up with RUAG, which is the Swiss maintenance organization of the Swiss Armed Forces, which also has a subsidiary in the United States. The picture on the lead side is a lot more fuzzy at this time than in aviation, but you can see that, that the organizations like fire brigades, polices, different armed forces, different air traffic controllers are on the list here, where we actually not just in talks, but actually have offers out there. And furthermore, we're just venturing out into another mid-sized market for all companies that needs to be certified, be that ISO 9001, ISO 27001, etc., because we can provide an out-of-the-box solution to actually manage your audits in a digital way, leveraging our own experience that we have in getting certified using our own tool. Apple is a help here as well. Apple has a very strong focus in getting as many devices into the market as possible. So of course, they're not interested in small companies being ISO certified, but they're very interested in talking to the UK Army or to the Cantonal Police of Zurich or to the Swiss Armed Forces, because there's a lot of people who need the device, right? That's good for Apple and that's good for us. So summing up, we're actually serving a very boring market, but a market that sees a lot of challenges because everybody's affected by controlled documentation. And we're also seeing a lot of interest, not just from customers, leads, and investors, but also from major players like Apple to support us to actually digitize and smarten up your documents. Thank you very much. Okay. Any questions?
iGuide last year had a big problem when a switch didn't quite work for a day. Nobody could fly here in Switzerland. Does your system prevent that?
It doesn't prevent it, no, and I'm not to blame. Just to be very clear. But what is really, really special when we compare ourselves to our competitors is that we can handle any kind of crazy IT setup you want to have. So, for example, the Swiss Armed Forces, they host the entire Yonder solution on premise, right? And Skyguide also has a solution which is I cannot really talk about the details here in public, which is not the standard hosting. And that's something not many software as a service providers can do. We can even do fully redundant cluster setups if you want so, of course, at the price premium. And in the scenario that Skyguide had last year, our solution would not have been affected simply because it's a fully cloud native solution. And the core switch problem that Skyguide was suffering, I mean, I'm not telling any secrets here, that was in the news, right? That was due to old hardware stemming from before cloud days, where you had single points of failure in the IT setup. Okay. Other questions?
Why not banking or insurance or pharma? I mean,
we've been talking to those guys, very, what do you say, not very formal, right? And the reason I'm very honest here, right, is because we don't speak the language. We are aviators by profession. My co-founders and myself were in aviation for 15 years. So we know the challenges. I've been responsible for this stuff at Swiss in my previous life. We know the police and the military part of the world, but we don't really understand what a core banking system does. And we definitely don't understand what the pharma certification process needs. However, if we do have signals in there, of course, we want to venture into that domain. This would require some kind of investment on our side into personnel that speaks the language. We found out that this helps a lot. If you speak the language, if you can talk to those guys about the real documentation challenges, and if I talk to a pharma guy, it's like, okay, yeah, I need to get vaccinated, and that's about it, and that's not the whole story. We cannot tackle everything at one go, right? Even going into more than one industry is a delicate thing as a young company. We always wanted to do this. We accelerated this because of COVID. Because when COVID hit, our pipeline in aviation, of course, just crashed, right? And if I go back to the traumatic experience of TAP Air Portugal, right, which will eventually be a customer, That's something we could not have foreseen. And in the time we basically linked through in aviation, we started in other industries. There was another question? Yeah.
How do you guys make revenue actually? Is it single license or subscription?
Subscription, yeah. So it's a subscription named user model, named user price model, right? And of course, it needs some kind of non-recurrent revenue to get the guys started. Non-recurrent revenue is declining simply because we automated a lot of work to actually transfer legacy documents like Word files and PDF files and stuff into Yonder by automating the import.
What is Apple really doing? And I mean, it's amazing that you have them also on import. How do you, maybe if you can elaborate?
I'm under NDA. So what Apple does is Apple has a clear mission of distributing as many devices in the enterprise market as they possibly can. And they're actually fighting a very tough battle against Windows and Microsoft. So they realized that you cannot just sell an iPad and say everybody will be happy, that you actually need software to assist in certain use cases. And if you look at this one here, right, with the 3 use cases here, of course, they're not interested in those two, because nobody in a control center uses an iPad. They have a big screen and with a huge web client, right? But wherever you have frontline employees working for a big organization, police and border is a big topic, rail is a big topic, aviation is a big topic, armed forces is a big topic. They try to push into that market and offering the devices through their established procurement channels together with software licenses for whatever use case they're offering to a certain organization. That's where you come in. And fun enough, it's not actually fun, it's cool. We were introduced to Apple by one of our customers, and that's Eurowings Discover. And Eurowings Discover is basically the German copy of Edelweiss, the leisure airline in the Lufthansa group, right? So they started an airline right after COVID from scratch, and they knew us through various acquaintances because we do speak the language, because we do have a network, and we started working with those guys in 2020, and they introduced it to Apple. I think that means that
Ja. Doe er wat druk.
Slideshow, ja, kom maar.
Thanks, Tom, for your presentation. The reason why I invited Tom tonight as part of this venture portfolio is because he's really a good example of how this principle works. Let me maybe summarize why we invested in Yonder. We invested in Yonder here for the first time in 2019, so 4 years ago, when there was not so much or lots of promises and good industry looks promising, but can he deliver? We couldn't know. It was a venture. It's still a venture, but we know much more. First, we got to know Tom, because venture investing is not investing in Apple or Nestle. It's investing in people, first and foremost. And we know Tom as a very resilient guy. He doesn't give up. And that is needed if you talk to the VBS, to the army. You need 3 years, 4 years, maybe 5 years fighting until they sign this bloody contract. And if you have somebody who's short-term minded and goes from flower to flower, he will never sign a VBS contract. But we knew that Tom can make it. He has proven it. And also we knew from the hidden signals that he's talking to those guys, and at some point he will make it. But when we signed the deal with Yonder last year for the fund, there was no VBS deal. There was just a hope for the VBS deal. But we thought that's now the right inflection point at a given valuation, at a given point stage of the company, because we see it coming and we believe that Tom can make it. So for us, the picture was more or less complete and was like ready for investment. So that's also like a blueprint, because with this new contract, he will almost double the revenues of his company, which is always something that investors like. And the next round certainly will be at a different valuation than what we have seen last year. So with that, I shut up and I'm open for questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please, yeah.
Who does the valuation when you move from your portfolio to the, let's say, this portfolio two, portfolio one, whatever?
These are separate portfolios. So we don't move an existing company just like by a management decision or so from left to right. It's always a new round. Everybody can participate. It's independent. Yeah.
First investment in London, what was the ticket size by Jared?
I think it was 1 million.
The fund?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
For London.
Yeah, for Yonder. Yeah. We had the first capital call last year, which totaled in 9 million investable money, and we invested 1 million in Yonder because we also want to keep some dry powder for the next round. So we don't usually spend all the money in a given round.
The person was for the investment in 2019.
No, the very first one.
The very first one.
The very first one, 2019. Michael, do you remember? 500,000. That was well invested. Please.
When you're deciding a venture investment, what is your time horizon?
Time horizon for exit.
Yeah.
It really depends on when we start, because sometimes we start really early. So post seed, Series A, first round, like we've seen with the memo, and then typically you have to expect at least 7 years until you see the money back. That's some people don't like that, because 7 years. I mean, I can go to primary school for 7 years, and then that's even longer. But it's just the reality of the case. When we invest in the later stage, I've shown you the exit table. We've seen exits after 2, 3, 4 years, because they were sometimes companies that were much more mature, had already like a much more mature business model. But to be realistic, if you invest in venture, 7 years is probably realistic overall. And that's also why the venture fund is geared for 8 years in total. Because we think in this time period, we can return most of the companies.
And that holds true even with the current economic conditions. We expect it to prolong the whole period.
Actually not, because the current economic situation means that most of the new rounds that ventures do, they don't normally expect to double or triple their valuation from 1 year or from one round to the next round, like they used to do in some cases. So they're much more realistic, sometimes even flat rounds, although they made some significant business progress. So we think that's really good investment opportunity, a window of opportunity, because also the valuations of the venture market are not totally uncorrelated to what's happening in the rest of the world. We see that, but also we expect that the economic downturn will finish at some point, because our time horizon overall is 8 years. And we have already And we usually have a good relationship with them, and we knock on the door and say, now you need to check Yonder because we think that's a good match. And then hopefully that turns into sales. And but the secret also of venture investing, it's not about patents and technology, that's all important, but in the end, it's about sales. Selling your product, that makes a company successful. And that's what we try to accelerate. And the third point is exit. We have a structured like exit process. So we identify the companies early on, like 24 months before they are so exitable, ready for the market. We talk to them, we make them ready for like documentation, who to talk to, which advisor would be good, how should you like improve your skills, and then also exit the companies. That's also value generating for the investors, but also for the venture. Yeah.
For your investors now, for your fund, I mean, if you're attracting, let's say, retail type of investors, do you plan to have a secondary market OTC, or like Peter Friedrich 25 years ago going to the stock market so that you create liquidity? Or do you tell people, listen, believe in us, in 7 years you will see it work out?
For this fund specifically, there's no market making. So what you need to understand is if you invest here, you stay with your shares until the bitter or hopefully sweet end. Yeah.
And in the individual positions, you said that some of these companies are very attractive and everybody wants to invest in them. So how do you protect yourself against getting diluted out in your position, or you don't care, or you just calculate it?
Yeah, we do care. That's why we keep some dry powder for the period that comes after the portfolio building.
Yeah.
So 40% of the commitment is we keep safe for like follow-on rounds. And then that can be like for different reasons, because the company is growing so much and we want to be part of that, or we see something is not quite right, we rather stay away. So we have I think enough reserves to make exactly these decisions. Yeah, but not to be diluted in the wrong end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be the minimum investment for
the fund. It's the minimum investment is 100, or commitment is 150,000 Swiss francs. This is for regulatory reasons, because you need to be a qualified investor here. It's not like for somebody who has normally a savings account and wants to do his first investment. I would not recommend a Verve venture fund. But somebody who has experience and knows the space and wants to invest in like a portfolio, not just in single companies, this is probably a good alternative. And the way it works, the commitment is not doesn't need to be liquid upfront, because we work with capital calls. We don't need all the capital now. We need it like in the next coming years. So specifically for this second closing, the first call, so to say, will be 45% of the commitment. So if you invest, make it easy, 1 million, it would be 450,000, or divided by whatever you want. So 45% of your commitment you will have to pay in probably April. And then the next capital call will only be like next year, 2024, 25, 26, between 15 and 20.
Baseline. Which
Ziemlich am Ende. I have a slide for that. That's why yeah. So commitment is 100%. Let's say 150,000. 45% of those 150 in the first capital call in April, you need to pay in, and then the rest between 15 and 25% in the upcoming next 3 years. So you can still save a little bit to be liquid.
And what's the cost structure that you have, or fee structure? How does that work?
It's a typical what is in the industry called 220, so 2% management fee and 20% carry. So like we from the fund, we only make money if we deliver good returns also for the investor with a 6% hurdle rate per annum. So we only get like a carry or like a profit share if you get 6% return every year. And it's a SICK of Verve, so it's a very classical structure. Every banker knows that, every investor knows this structure. It's the most common like juristic structure, legal structure that you can have. And you can book through us, then you save all the banking fees, or if you trust, you want to give some money to your banker, you book it through the bank. But I have an opinion on that.
Maybe if you can tell a bit also how you do the exits. I mean, you have shown
Yeah.
several exits.
Yeah, typically the exit in Europe, at least, there's actually two exit routes. Mostly trade sales, so small company sells to a bigger company or to a competitor in the same space, or IPO. We have seen also two IPOs in our portfolio. That's in Europe rather an exception than the rule. So the rule, what we see mostly on the market is really the trade sales. And from our experience, that's also an advantage for investors, because typically in a trade sale, you get some money up front and maybe a milestone-based payment scheme later on based on the performance. Whereas in an IPO, as an investor, you usually have a hold-up period, so you cannot sell when they IPO on the same day, and then things can happen, can go up, can go down, but you are not liquid. So a trade sale sounds like boring because everybody thinks about IPO and stock exchange, but in reality, a trade sale is actually like a good option.
Do you have also, let's say, because you were for investor before, you have a track record, you have selected first startups that they can be onboarded on the platform. Do you have also, let's say, a track record, like checked like how much they increased the valuation when they were on your platform? Because now you invest also in these portfolios, so this would be like an indication how successful maybe the fund would be.
We did actually this test, so we tested different options, what is the best strategy out of this portfolio. So you could say, I don't care, I invest in every single deal when it comes on the platform. So first round, I want to diversify as much as I can. Or I do what we do in the fund, I wait and observe until I find the companies on a good track. The difference between those two investment strategies is, in the first strategy, you pay lower valuations because it's earlier. As you go up in the life cycle, valuations go up. So the question is, does the higher valuation compensate for the lower risk that you have as you invest later stage? And our findings clearly show it's at least for our approach, smarter to wait for like a second or third or fourth investment and then make like a considerate investment rather than do like a monkey investment, which is also an investment style, nothing to say against that, but the data shows it's better to wait for upcoming rounds and pay a higher valuation but have less risk.
Yeah. So thank you so much for your time.
Thanks.
Now we come to the end. We have still like a rating here. You can go on mentor.com and then use this code 4470543, and then please fill out the ranking so we can rate the startups in which one we would like to invest. In the meantime, I would like to thank again Web Republic for hosting us and Verve Ventures and for great collaboration. I think it was a great event, and the startup entrepreneurs, you did a fantastic job. And Yeah, I think let's then go for the apero. Yeah. Also, critical feedback is very valuable if you know that, because we can improve. Ich kann es. Ja, ja, können die machen. Was jetzt zu starten?
Is upstairs. Please go upstairs. Next. Yeah.